Today let's make Late Night Talking by Harry Styles in 1 hour. And at the end, you can download the final Logic Pro project for free down below. Stopwatch, 3, 2, 1, go! Our BPM is 115 beats per minute. Y to open up the library. Search Ensemble, Classical Female Ensemble. And the notes are F, F, D, D, F. F, F, D, D, F. Trust me, we can make it work. Command A, Q to quantize, so they're all perfectly in time. Click on the MIDI and Command or across. X for records, OTT, which is a free exciter plugin. Bring up the high frequencies and lower the mids and lows. Good stuff. Then Sound Toys, Little Alter Boy. Bring down the format a tiny amount and bring up the drive. Now it's sounding a little bit weirder. Exactly what we want. Isotope Vinyl. Another free plugin. Let's go 1930s. Warp around 30% and we can bring up the mechanical noise a little bit for some of that lo-fi hiss. We're getting there now. Some Sound Toys Decapitator with the punish button on to give it some extra dirt. Make sure you bring the mix way down. The weirder, the better. Reverb, Space Designer. Medium spaces, rooms, Live Chamber. With the wet signal brought down to 24-ish, but the size brought up to 20%. Sweet. And we can create a bus 11 with that Space Designer on. Option and click to drag it across. But make that reverb fully wet and 0 dry. 7 minutes, 13 seconds. Not too bad for someone who's been stuck in this room for the last week. Yeah, pretty rough. I'm starting to feel better though, thanks to these healthy beverages. Great. New software instrument. Let's go for Alchemy. We need a synth, analog, that's sort of jazz sounding. Let's try the harpsichord synth. I think that will work. Get rid of the delay and reverb. And the chords are C minor 7. Then to B major 7, B flat major 7. Tricky to play and say at the same time. Command A, and let's quantize that maybe 60%. Cut out some of the low frequencies. Filter, auto filter. Cut off to 100, but bring the sustain up and longer attack. And bring up some of the dry signal as well. Put the isotope vinyl on this as well, 2000s, and bring down the dust and warp to 8% or so. And a tiny bit of decapitator with the drive up, punish on, but the mix way down. We're getting there. Command us to save. 16 minutes, 51 seconds. It took a bit longer than I hoped, but this won't be the only time we use this synth. Command or that harpsichord synth. Create. Software instrument. Bass. Liverpool bass. The most organic sounding bass in Logic. And the bass goes C, 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 D, B flat. B flat, B flat, F, A, B flat, C, C. Command A, Q to quantize, functions, MIDI transform, fixed velocity, to make sure our low frequencies are nice and steady. Command or that across, and in chorus it goes D, 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 F, G, 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 A, C, 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 B, D, B flat, B flat, B flat, B flat. Command A, Q to quantize, and fix the velocity as well. Turn on its distortion and exciter. We can add a tiny bit of the bus reverb, edit the distortion on the track to 0 drive and about 6,000 tone. Create another bus, distortion, overdrive. Drive up to 8, full tone, bring down the output. For a tiny bit extra beef, and one more bus with distortion. Crank it up to 13, full tone, and down with the output. For a tiny bit of extra edge. And make sure those notes last about half a beat. That's pretty good. Who doesn't love bass? Option C, color the bass red, synth blue, vocal sample green. 21 minutes, 19 seconds. The faster we go, the more vocals we'll get done. Great. Guitar. Let's try experimental guitar, Spring Theory. And the guitar goes like... I think that might do it. Shorten the audio and fade it in. Turn off the ring shift and echo. In the pedal board, turn down that squash compressor. Put an EQ on. That low cuts to 400-ish and the high cuts a bit at the top. Sound Toys, Decapitator. It's so good. Punish on, mix down, drive up a little bit. And we can bring the So much more energetic. Some bus reverb. Let's make a new bus using delay, tape delay. Bring up the wet mix, feedback up a tiny amount, and let's leave it at a quarter note delay. EQ out some of the lows and highs in that bus. Super thick. And one last bus with another tape delay, this time with 50% feedback, and it's an 8 note delay. Gives it a lovely shimmer afterwards. Check it, check it, check it, check it. You gotta love delay. So good for adding in interesting rhythms. 2-finger click that pan, stereo pan, and pan this to the right. So we can hear the guitar mainly out of our right ear. Command S to save. Option, click and drag that spring theory across to the second half of the pre-chorus. 28 minutes, 32 seconds. That took a bit too long. I need more health juice. Great. Audio track. Open up our loop browser. Search for Tambourine. Drag in Quincy, Tambourine 16th. And we'll put that in the second half. 2-finger click, stereo pan. Pan it to the left. Command D to duplicate the track. Option, click and drag it down. And pan this one to the right. Shift click to select both tracks. Shift Command G to create a group track. Add a tiny bit of reverb to sit it in the same room. Press A to open up automation. Click on the group track and we can drag in points to edit the volume of the tambourine group. Let's drag a point down here on the second tambourine hit, then shift control click to curve the automation so it feels a little bit more natural. Drag this one up and this one down. Oh, lovely. Use marquee tool by 2-finger clicking and dragging over that beat, and then we can command or that automation across. Beautiful. So the tambourine groove is a little bit closer to the original track. Option C, color those yellow. 32 minutes, 10 seconds. That was much more like it. Super fast. Great. Software instrument, drum kit, producer kits, Sunset, which I think is one of the most real sounding drum kits in Logic. And our drums go kick, snare, kick, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, kick, snare. Command A, Q to quantize those, making sure the first kick of each double is a lower velocity than the next kick. Boom. Ka, boom, boom, ka. Much more like a real drummer. And our hi-hat goes like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and quantize that about 70%, and we can bring their velocities down a little bit more. That's pretty good. Move the cursor to the top right corner and copy it across. But Command T to chop the last section. Option click and drag to the first half as well. At the end, we shorten it and add a snare on the last beat, and we have to shorten the tambourine to there as well. Perfect ending. And the drums in the transition into the chorus. Snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick. And we can Control M to mute those two hi-hats. Option click and drag across those kicks underneath the snares to add an extra bit of punch. Not too bad. To get extra fancy, plugins that knock, knock. Breakbeat, subtle distortion. Bring down the mix in this and less high cut. With it off and on. Just a bit of extra grit. 40 minutes, 48 seconds. We're starting to get tight for time. Back to our synth. Command D to duplicate it. And in the chorus it goes D minor, G minor 7. Get some sort of diminished. B flat major 7. Those synth chords are so cool. Command A, Q to quantize. Bring down the velocity a little bit. Imaging, stereo spread, just to thicken it out. Bus some reverb and a new bus, which has Sound Toys, little micro shift, which adds a bit of chorus and stereo spread. I might just change its synth over here to the left hand side a little bit more, and then change its stereo pan to be perfectly in the middle. And then we're getting stereo spread from the effects. That synth is so cool and difficult to get right. 45 minutes, 52 seconds. Pretty good, which gives me enough time to fix up the end here. Command T the end of that synth. Command D to duplicate the track. Bring that last chord down. Open up the synth. Make its attack way longer. Go modulation, tremolo. Go for an 8 note. Depth about 70 and smoothing around halfway. And open its stereo pan up fully. Super cool. 48 minutes, 6 seconds. Super stuff. That's left a lot of time for the vocals. Great. Audio, low vocal first. If you're feeling down, I just wanna make you happier, baby. My voice is not in the best state. And that's in the best of times. Thankfully we can tune by double clicking, flex pitch, turn on, change from slicing to flex pitch, scroll to the notes. We can command A to select all the notes. We can move the pitch correction as high as we want. And we can also bring the vibrato down a little bit, which can help with shakiness, but also makes it sound a bit more robotic. So it's all about finding that healthy balance. And you can also quantize it to the right scale, which would be B flat major. I can't get you off my mind. Lovely and nasal. EQ out some of the lows in that. Always good to hit it with a compressor to get rid of some of those hard transients. Some bus reverb on that. Command D, and let's try a normal double. Wish I was around, I just wanna make you happier, baby. Oh, you can hear all the nasal congestion. Lovely. Shorten it and fade it in. Flex pitch, and we can tune this one as well. If you ever have a note that you want to chop in two, select the scissors tool, 2-finger click, and we can chop it in two. Great little tip that. Flex pitch is so powerful, especially for a free tool. I can't get you off my mind. It works. 57 minutes. I got a little bit too comfortable there. Command D, harmony A. Pan this one to the left. All this late night talking, wanna till the morning. We got there eventually. So many coughing fits. Command D and pan out the other side. Lie, I can't get you off my mind. Ooh, a lot quicker this time. I think the voice is warming up slightly. Tune those as well. I can't get you off my mind. Shift click those tracks. Shift command G, vocal group. Give it some bus reverb and some of the bus stereo spread as well. All this late night talking, wanna till the morning. Ah, so much better when the vocals are all lined up perfectly. Command S to save, and that's time. Boom. Oh, there's so many great tracks off this album, and this is definitely up there as one of my favorites. Harry keeps showing us how powerful the band setup can be with a few cheeky synths. Just so huge, thick, and powerful, and some really tasty vocals in there as well, which sadly I couldn't give my full attempt today. Huge shout out to my patrons over on Patreon. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, will we sing the lead vocal live? Hard to be rude not to. Here we go. If you're feeling down, I just wanna make you happier, baby. Wish I was around, I just wanna make you happier, baby. We've been doing all this late night talking about anything you wanna till the morning. Now you're in my life, I can't get you off my mind. Woo! Ah, that was fun. You can learn how to make daylight right here. It has even more tips and tricks than this one, so definitely check it out. Hard to be rude not to. Hope you're keeping better than me. Cheers.